convert passive voice with auxiliary verb into active voice with auxiliary verb. Before that, let us understand what are auxiliary verbs. Now, auxiliary verbs are basically those words which are used to express some kind of, we can say, mood or some kind of infinitives. For example, we can say that auxiliary verbs can also be referred to as modals. And modals we know are must, might, shall, should, can, could. So all these are used for showing some kind of responsibility, or it is used for asking some kind of permission or for showing some kind of obligations. So auxiliary verbs are used for showing some kind of permission, obligations, responsibilities, certainty. So now we are going to understand how to convert passive voice into active voice with these auxiliary verbs. So before converting from one voice to another, first we need to make sure that the voice is in passive form if we are converting to active form. So rule to identify that our sentence is in passive form. So the rule for that with auxiliary verb is subject plus modal plus be plus. Now we know that for passive voice our verb will always be in third form. So third form of verb followed by and followed by object. Now first we are following the rule to convert passive voice into active voice having a positive sentence. So this rule is for the positive sentence. Now example of such can be the food will be cooked by Rita. The food will be cooked by Rita. Now will over here is my modal. Food is my subject. Be as it is. The third form of cook is cooked. And object is Rita. By is used for passive sentences whenever we are converting or whenever we are forming a sentence in passive voice. It is essential to use by, as this is an indication or this is a sign of passive sentence. Now this was the rule for passive voice. Now rule for converting a passive voice into active voice with modal is, next we will be considering the rule for active voice. So rule for active voice is subject plus modal plus the verb in first form followed by the object. So this is a rule for identifying or for converting into active voice with a modal or with an auxiliary verb. Now, I know that this sentence is in passive form. I want to convert my passive sentence to active. The rule for conversion is that, first rule is that the subject of passive sentence will be the object for active, and the object for passive sentence will be the subject for the active sentence. That means that the subject and object interchange their position. Now here, if the object of passive is there, I have to convert it into a subject. So here I will begin with Rita. My modal is will. The first form of cooked is cook. And here if the subject is the food, while converting into another voice, my subject will change to object. So the object for active will be food. Now my sentence has changed from passive voice to active voice with the modal. The food will be cooked by Rita is my sentence in passive voice, and Rita will cook the food. This is my sentence in active voice. This was my first example. Second example can be leave should be taken by her. Leave should be taken by her. Here leave is my subject. Should is my modal. Being taken is a third form of verb for the word take, and her is the object. I know that my sentence is in passive voice because it matches the rule for passive voice. Now I have to convert this into active voice. So for that, the first rule is that my object of passive voice will be the subject for active. Her, if her is object in one of the voice, then it will change to she. She will now be my subject. So I will say she should take leave. Leave is the subject over here. It becomes the object for active voice. So now I have converted my sentence from passive voice to active voice. We have discussed the rule for conversion of positive sentences. Next, we will be studying the rule for conversion of negative sentences from passive voice to active voice with auxiliary verb. So, for negative sentences, the rule for passive sentences, the rule is, now for negative sentences, we know that it can be either no or not. These are the two words which make a positive sentence negative. So, the rule is, always remember a sentence will always begin with a subject. So, subject plus a modal followed by not. Just the difference between positive and negative sentence for passive voice is that with modal we will add not, and rest everything will remain the same. So subject plus modal plus not plus third form of verb plus by and followed by the object. So the rule is same as that for the positive sentence, just the difference is that not is added after a modal. Example can be Ram cannot dance, not plus be. So dance cannot be done by Ram. Dance cannot be done by Ram. This is my sentence in negative form, which means that this is my negative sentence with passive voice. Why with passive voice? Because I am using third form of verb followed by. Next, to convert it into active form. To convert it into active form, my rule will be subject plus modal plus not plus verb in first form followed by object. So this is a rule for converting a negative sentence with passive voice to active voice with auxiliary verb. So now I know that Ram is my object and dance is the subject. But while conversion, the subject and object interchange their position. So now the object Ram will be subject. So my sentence will begin with Ram. Modal will remain the same. Can, not. Verb is done. The first form of done is do. And the subject is done. But again, here there is an exceptional case that whenever we are using do with do, if there is a verb appearing. Now dance is a verb. If with do we have a verb, then we eliminate do. Because do is also a verb and dance is also a verb, and two verbs cannot come together. Therefore, do is eliminated and I say Ram cannot dance. Do dance and dance mean the same, but do dance, the sentence is wrong. So we remove do and we say dance. We do play cricket. We play cricket. Do is a verb, play is a verb. Two verbs cannot come together. We eliminate do as a verb and we just say dance. Now Ram cannot dance. This is the sentence in active voice. So again, I have converted my negative sentence, which was in active voice, with a modal. I have converted, it was in passive voice with modal. I have converted to active voice with modal without changing the formation of sentence. Next, we are going to study the rule for converting the passive voice with interrogative sentences having auxiliary verb into active voice with interrogative sentence and having auxiliary verb. So first, now next we will be talking about interrogative sentences. Now, interrogative sentences are those sentences which are used for asking questions so that some information can be collected. Now, these sentences begin with words like who, what, did, how, when, what, where, right? So, now as I earlier said that the sentence will begin with a subject. But in case of interrogative sentences, our sentence will always begin with an interrogative word. And interrogative word, as I said, are who, which, when, where, how, why. All these are my interrogative sentences. So, now I first have to identify whether my sentence is in passive voice. So, rule to identify if my sentence is in passive voice having auxiliary verb and the sentence is of interrogation. So there my sentence will always begin with an interrogative word. And that interrogative word is always a modal. Why? Because here I am talking about auxiliary verb. So for interrogative sentences, my interrogative word will be a modal. So here I will say modal plus subject plus be followed by a verb in third form. My verb is in third form because I am forming a passive sentence. Verb in third form plus by and then my object. So modal plus subject followed by be plus verb in third form plus by and then the object. And then a question mark. Why a question mark? Because I am making use of interrogative sentences. So the example can be may I be allowed to enter the class? May I be allowed to enter the class? Now for active sentences, I have to convert my passive sentence into active sentence. The rule is modal plus subject plus modal plus subject plus verb in first form plus the object. Modal plus subject plus verb in first form plus the object. Now the modal will remain the same. May. So the example can be will the dance be performed by Sana? Will the dance be performed by Sana? Now this is an interrogative sentence using a modal and it is in passive voice. I have to convert it into active voice. And the rule to convert it into an active voice will be modal plus subject plus the first form of verb plus the object. So modal plus subject plus first form of verb plus the object. So here dance is the subject and Sana is the object. Now my object of passive will change to the subject of active. So my sentence will begin with a modal, that is will, and the subject is Sana. So I say will Sana. The third form of the first form of performed is perform, and object is the dance followed by a question mark. So will the dance be performed by Sana changes to will Sana perform the dance. Another example can be should the work be completed by me. Should the work be completed by me? Here should is again a modal. Work is the subject and me is the object. Now if me is the object in passive form, then for active, the subject me will convert to I. So as it is, the sentence will begin with a modal. So I say, should I, completed first form is complete. Should I complete the work? So in this way, an interrogative sentence with a modal in interrogative sentence will change to, in passive form will change to active form, where the sentence type will remain the same and the sentence type is the interrogative sentence. The modal will remain the same, only the formation of sentence will change. So in this video, we studied how to convert a passive voice into active voice with auxiliary verb, and then we also understood how to convert it in different type of sentences. First, we understood by using positive sentence, then we understood by using negative sentence, and at last we also made use of interrogative sentences to convert passive voice to active voice with auxiliary verbs.